everyone knows that AI is the future, but we all don't know what it looks like.
Correct.
My caveat would be, I don't know what it looks like as well too. Stop asking me what it looks like in the future, because it really depends on what we do today.
Yeah, that's a bar.
You see what I'm saying?
That's a bar, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey guys, this morning I just wrapped up a Q&A call with two of my students inside of the AI Academy, and this was a very valuable discussion covering key topics in the AI space that I think that many of you are looking to, enable AI in your business or use AI to start a business can really benefit from. And, we're all living examples of people who are taking action in AI and actually currently building AI solutions as we speak. Now, in this conversation with Jay and Mohammed, we actually go in depth building AI automation scenarios inside of Make.com that I think that'd be very beneficial for all of you to use. So tune into our discussion, tap into some of the things that we've learned and are currently building in AI to hopefully help you win and achieve success in the space. Now, if you're not already inside of the AI Academy and you want to use AI to power your business, click the link below and I'll see you on the other side.
My guy, how's it going, Jay?
Good. Sorry if you hear some banging. They're doing like some construction and whatnot.
You're good, bro.
So
how's everyone doing?
Huh?
How's everyone doing?
Good.
Where are you calling from, Jay?
Medellin, Colombia.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. How's your time there? You've been traveling a lot, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to be here till the end of the month. I'll probably go to Peru for 2 weeks. I might stop somewhere else before the end of the year. And I'm trying to debate if I'm going to be in Cape Town or Thailand at the beginning of the year.
Oh, nice. Nice. I was looking to go into Thailand next month.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
Just to go, or you
rent an Airbnb, just go work there for a little bit.
Fair enough. My only thing about it is the freaking time difference.
Yeah, it is difficult. I'd be taking calls like hella late at night.
Yeah, that's not one necessary concern. But other than that, we'll see. I'm trying to go there for the Muay Thai, though.
Absolutely.
Get my ass kicked.
Tiger or what?
Yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah, that's what's up. So, what time is it over there?
12 p.m.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, what's up? That's what's up. Sweet. Awesome. Let me see. Probably going to be just us three, but yeah. So, Mohammed, how's everything going? What have you been building since our last call?
I actually had signed up to some different softwares like Make.com, and I was just playing around with these tools.
Hell yeah, man. How's Make.com? Is it? I know the learning curve can be a little steep, but do you build any automations yet?
No, I was actually just working some tutorials and trying to copy those tutorials.
Awesome. What are you trying to build?
I was just trying to get some contact numbers from Google Sheets and then tag them to a voice flow.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah,
awesome.
It was a kind of, I'm trying to build a chatbot that has an outbound SMS service.
Okay, right on. Jay, you've been trying to build and make as well too, I'm assuming, right? I think I saw on your story.
Yeah, I was just watching a guy, his video going over, it's like a 3-hour long video looking at Make. I think his name is Ricardo Vendra. Looking at that, but honestly, I'm interested in just allowing or getting into automating the sales side for our team, like follow-ups, the lead flow as well too. So
awesome.
But yeah.
Awesome. Did I get the chance to show you the sales automation for reporting that I built before? Jay?
No, I know we talked about it, but with your shops.
Yeah, I basically built this sales automation where every single day my sales team, they track their sales performance. They look at the number of leads that came into the pipeline, how many leads that they consulted with, how much sales that they've collected, and then also like a recap of their day. So every single day they submit it's called an EOD report.
Yep.
And then every single Sunday, it's my responsibility as a sales manager to go back and look at the last 7 days of sales to calculate how many leads we got, sales we got, and then also daily reports. So it used to take me about an hour or sometimes even 2 hours, depending on how many people work the week, to analyze all of the sales data and then report it to the business owners. And it was very meticulous. And then I built an automation inside of Make to scan 7 days worth of sales data and create literally a sales report, so I don't have to. So technically, I have this automation running every Sunday, and it slacks everybody on the team, and it creates that whole report. And that was the only thing that I used to do with the tattoo studios, and now I don't have to do it. So I'm completely like hands off now at this point. Other than anybody that wants to work with the tattoo studios, they have to go through me, and then I just interview them on my calendar. But I'm going to share my screen really quick, and then I'm going to show you this fucking cool automation that I built. It's like sick. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, of make.com, what I wanted to do, and my approach with make.com, especially when building AI automations, is always going to be in this process. So it's like, where am I going to collect data? So in this form, it's Airtable. And then I connected ChatGPT, which is like, how am I going to analyze the data? So it needs that knowledge base, because the data is the knowledge base. This is ChatGPT is really just like going to analyze and be given a task or a prompt. And then also the last step is how am I going to make this data useful, which is like how am I going to push it to myself or my team. So basically with this sales automation, Jay, I think you should implement something like this, honestly. And then Mohammed, you could even implement something like this as well too. Explain how this could be useful to you in a little bit, but I want you guys to like fundamentally see how this AI automation works. So basically inside of Notion, I'll go through every single module, and then guys stop me if like you guys are lost or you guys want a little bit more clarification. I'll break it out.
You're using Airtable as your database.
Yes. Yeah. So I use Airtable as my database. I collect all of the information inside of there. So Airtable is where my sales team, they fill in the information on the form inside of Airtable. So Airtable just like where they fill in the form. I'm going to share this. I'm going to share like my whole screen really quick. All right. Let me know if you guys could you guys see my Airtable?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
So let's just say today is the 10th, right over here. So I'm going to be looking at the 3rd through the 9th. So this is an Airtable visual database. The view that you guys are probably going to be most familiar with is going to be like this, yeah? They would fill in this form right over here every single day. So I'm going to view this form and then show you guys the user interface, what it looks like on the front end. So Mohammed, you can use this honestly, or anybody can use this if they wanted to track and collect data every single day. I have used a form for self-accountability before. You could totally build an automation like this to hold yourself accountable. If you're building an agency, this would have been so helpful for me to build, keeping myself accountable for how many leads did I reach out to, how many sales did I close, how much in revenue did I close, what's my daily recap, like just tracking every single day of building my agency, for example. Or you could even talk about your day, like what did you do, right? Because I think accountability is like one of the most important things, especially self-accountability when you're building a business, when you're building an AI agency, when you're building software. Like you want to track consistently what you're doing every single day. So this AI automation could definitely be super useful. So I'm going to show you this in like my sales setting. So they would go in over here and then they would fill in what today's date is. Let's just say today's the 15th. Obviously, if you're doing this by yourself, you wouldn't, of course, this is only applicable if you have more people. Let's just say I'm filled in this form. And then this is logic, right? So if I didn't cover, I would just submit this. But if I did cover, I have values that the AI collects or what I collect, right? So I would put in, what time did you clock in today? 9 o'clock. Let's just say I clocked out at 11 p.m. How many new leads were created? This is applicable. So this is only for sales data. This is sales data. If you're running an agency as well too, this could be how many leads did you scrape today? How many people did you reach out to? Let's just say on average, my team has anywhere from like 25 to 40. It really ranges. So let's just say 25 leads. How much in deposits can you collect? Let's just say I collected $2,500. How was my day or consultations or whatever? Let's just say it was fucking amazing. And then this is actually going to be the most important. So this up here, right over here, this is quantitative data. So this is the numbers that you're going to be feeding to the AI, which I'll show you in a little bit. And then right over here, this is the qualitative data. In my opinion, both are equally just as important, but I'm going to show you in a little bit why the qualitative data is just going to be such a game changer with this AI automation specifically. So in this form right over here, I would write a detailed summary explaining the challenge that I faced, the questions that I didn't know how to answer, the quality of the leads, the wins that I've made, etc. So again, if I'm running an agency, let's just say I did outreach. I had 2 sales calls. I met with this guy. His name is this. And I felt like I did this right, but I feel like I could make this adjustment, etc. So again, this could be used for that matter. And then I would hit submit. Not going to do that because my whole team's going to get notified. But so that's basically this form. So when I submit, or whenever my sales team submits this, Jay, all of that data would populate here. You can see right over here, every single day they'd submit something. Leads, deposits, day quality, daily recap, time submitted, clock in, clock out, etc. So let's go back into the sales automation right over here. So I built this automation where whenever this is triggered, so this is triggered every Monday. Every Monday, it creates a database item inside of Notion. It creates a database. You guys don't have to do this part. Really, you guys just have to create the Airtable part. But this part is just for my visual purposes. But it searches for the records. So inside of make.com, I've learned that if you wanted to pull data from Airtable, you need something called an aggregator, especially if it's multiple records. So if you're pulling 7 days worth of, right over here, this is 7 days worth of sales data. This module right here is pulling the lead count, right? And then you have to do it individually except for each sales KPI that you're pulling. This right over here is pulling the deposits collected, which is also a numeric aggregator right over here. So I pulled in the deposits collected, and then we're also doing, remember what I said, the qualitative data, which is the daily recap, right? So this is a text aggregator. So each of these 3 purple modules right here is pulling data to send over to the AI. In this case, this is ChatGPT. So again, this is pulling data from Airtable, which is the knowledge base, and then this is going to be the AI. So once you have basically the data, the knowledge base that's useful to the AI, then you give the AI, in my case, I use ChatGPT 4, you give it a task or a prompt. So whenever you use ChatGPT or any sort of AI model, you need 2 things: the system and an assistant prompt. Okay, so the system prompt is basically you're telling what the AI is, and then the assistant prompt is you're telling it what to do. Does that kind of make sense? It is confusing, but in this instance right over here, the system, I'm telling GPT-4, I'm telling the AI, you are a sales manager that overviews remote booking managers for a tattoo shop called Aloha Tattoo, because that's my client. Okay, let's just say I'm building an accountability on AI automation that overviews the past 7 days of like my week, and it slacks me in a recap, automated recap every single week, right? To view performance in building an agency, because it can get lonely building an agency. So this one would be, it could be a life coach. You are an agency owner that overviews my sales performance running an AI agency. Like this automation can be that, but in the sales setting for mine, in the assistant tab, this is the actual task, right? And again, this can be applied to the accountability for an agency owner as well too. Take the principle and then use that for different scenarios. So this is, I wrote, generate a weekly sales report that analyzes key sales data, such as leads, sales, and daily recaps from the booking managers, and make this report ascending by day. And then your tasks are to calculate, so this is the thing that we're giving it to do, calculate the total number of leads created for the week, calculate the total deposits, and then also the commissions payable to booking managers. So again, this one could be customized based off of what you want the AI to do, essentially. And then the thing that I told it to do is analyze the daily recaps. So if we go back over here, I used to go back and I used to literally have to read all 7 of these and then come up with my own recap, because I'm a sales manager. Jay, this could be applied to you as well too, if you manage people who are under you in your sales positions. So You're going to analyze that qualitative data, like how their day went, so you don't have to do it. And then you can also, you tell it to, the last step is to create a comprehensive adjustment report to recap my sales team's performance, right? You create a comprehensive adjustment report to recap my performance over the last week. If you're running an AI agency, you could be more specific, you could be more general, you just have to test it out. And then with the AI, the last part about it and the most important part is going to be giving it the data, right? So inside of Make, you can connect the data right over here. So the data would be the aggregators, because it pulled it from Airtable. It pulled the qualitative and the quantitative data from Airtable. And then this is what the AI is actually making the output, right? So without this guy right over here, if I didn't include this, what's going to happen is the AI is going to hallucinate and then come up with dummy data. And it's just going to have the framework of the prompt, but it's not going to include my sales team's data, which is not going to be useful, correct? Inside of here, this is exactly what I mean. When it does that, this is an extra step I search for records and create a database item inside of Notion. So you guys don't have to do this. It would definitely be simplified without the Notion step, technically, because unless you guys want to have a view inside of Notion. And that's just like for my specific case. And then I aggregated everything into Slack. So again, what this pulls all of that information inside of the data. It pulls all of this and it forms it into one, basically, when you aggregate the data. And then this was a step that I learned that I had to do, because in Slack, since I'm reading 7 days worth of sales data, it sent out 7 reports. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is what the array aggregator and then the markdown tab does. So the markdown basically cleans the data because it outputted weirdly, and it cleans it and then it marks it down to HTML, so that in Slack right over here, it's able to output this HTML. So the output in GPT, put it into a markdown over here, so it's like readable inside of Slack, basically, right? Slack can also be Slack could also be an email that gets sent out to all of your team members. Slack can you could Slack it to as many people as you want, right? You can have a list of people you want it to send this message to. So that's basically what it does. So if we go over to my Slack here, I'm going to go over to here. Can you guys see my Slack? Let me know. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fire. So basically, this is what it did. I generated this like a couple of days ago, but it pulled all of that Airtable information, and then it gave me a weekly sales report, right? So it was like, it counted the total number of leads, it counted the deposits, and these were all accurate numbers, right? It counted the commissions payable to my booking managers, so I don't have to like manually go through it and then calculate that and then do a percentage of how much they made. And then it created the daily recaps analysis. So I had 2 people working last week, Quinn and Dylan, and then based on their EOD reports right over here, all of the information over here, it essentially created a sales analysis and like a recap of how their days went, and it sent it out. So right over here, it gave like a synopsis or analysis of their days right here. And then one of the coolest parts about what I told the AI to do is I said, create a summary and adjustments, and it created an action plan as well too. So I was like, this usually would take me a while to write up right here. So it was like, I'll give you an example. This week showed a mix of challenges and success across the board, with fluctuating deposits to handling unusual customer increases and scam incidents. Both Quinn and Dylan demonstrated flexibility and resourcefulness in addressing these issues. Adjustments. So these are the things that we need to get better at. Just like a little insight. Quinn, it was actually her first week last week. She was training. Monday she was training with Dylan, and then Tuesday and Wednesday she was actually alone. So she's still figuring out how to quote tattoos, because I have a system where people sell tattoos and they quote it and book it on their calendars. So it gave the adjustment and then the conclusion and then action plan right over here. So this whole automation, this right over here, the outcome was this. And this is something that I had to do every single week in myself. Now I don't. I literally don't do anything now for the company, literally, other than talk to people, which is crazy. So the point is, like, when you're building AI automations, my approach is always going to be like, not only, yes, you ask yourself like, where should I apply AI? But it's like, what areas in the business take the most time? What areas in the business can be automated due to, it's typically like data collection. It's usually like like the systems, like, could this process be more efficient? Right? Could this process be built in Make? And I would say 9 times out of 10, honestly, it can. It honestly can. So that's one of the coolest automations that I've built personally. I built a lot, but like for my sales team, it's, oh my gosh, it's pretty crazy. And I think that'd be super valuable to build something like that, Mohammed, if like you are wanting to hold yourself accountable with building an AI agency. It's you're taking data, you're making that data useful, and then you're using an AI's output to make you perform more, like perform better, which is like super duper cool, right? It can literally, like, for example, like it can analyze, if you do that, it'll be able to analyze patterns. For example, it's like, compared to last week, you outreached, let's just say 13 more people. And there could be a pattern where like a bump in sales revenue, or like you close like one more client. And then now you have data where it's like, oh, okay, I should be reaching out to this many people every single week in order to hit this sales metric to get to 10K a month. Because to get to 10K a month, a lot of people are just like, it's a pipe dream. But in me, and if you ask people like Jay, if you ask other salespeople that are just like, they're programmed to just, they look at the sales metric. It's, we think like, how can we reverse engineer our way to get to the 10K a month? How many people do we need to reach out to? What do I have to do in order to hit the 10K a month with my sales team? For me, it's the numbers. Like, how can I hit individual sales goals for each of my sales team? So I'm like, so Dylan is like closing, my sales guy's like closing this much. Like, he should be able to close this much because I have that sales data from last month. Therefore, there needs to be this, he needs to be talking to this amount of leads, right? So this is when like I go over to my sales, my marketing department, and then I make sure that we're getting those leads inbound so that my sales team can hit those metrics, right? But if you're running the agency, it'd be outflow. Outflow equals inflow. It's like the amount of people that you reach out to is going to directly correlate to how much you receive in Stripe invoices running an agency. You know what I mean? So that is so like incredibly important when you are running a business, is how like you got to put on your, it's not like, I said this to my friend yesterday. I'm like, it's not rocket science, brother. It's math. It's math. And if you want to achieve something, try to reverse engineer the math in order to achieve that outcome. Because oftentimes people will want the outcome and then they're like, I want to achieve this. But like, I'm constantly thinking, okay, what do I have to do? How many times do I have to do it in order to achieve that thing? What are the steps? Like, don't always envision the outcome. Always envision, okay, what are the steps? What are the modules inside of make.com to achieve the outcome that I want? What outcome do I want? Try to see like those areas that AI can be used in order to be useful in the business. And oftentimes it can be built inside of make.com, but people right now, they see make.com and then they see all of the thousands of different app like modules and integrations you could build, and then they get somewhat confused. And I get it, because it can get really complex. But once you understand what you want, and also when you're building the AI automations, it's like you just need data, the knowledge base, right? You need the modules, which is like the configurations with what you want it to do. It's like the steps chronologically. You need the AI to pull that data and then tell it what to do. And then you just need an output. What do you want as a result? You need that last step. And then test when you're building and make. Always test it before you deploy it out. So for example, the scenario that I built for my weekly sales recap, before I slacked it all to my team members, I slacked it to myself. Why? It's because I want to make sure that it's not only I and my team can depend and actually use that data, but I just want to make sure that the AI is actually outputting something good. If it's not, then I would just go back and iterate the prompt, if that makes sense. But yeah, any questions? Does that all make sense with that one? So it's, and also with make.com, if you guys also want to share this, if you guys are struggling with make.com, I want to show you this feature. But and yeah, any questions before I show you this new feature that I figured out? So we're gonna build the new one. I think you're muted, Jay.
Yeah, I have two questions. One, because I know you work with multiple tattoo shops. So is that just templated for each shop and then pulled in, and like you integrated between the data from each shop, or like how do you then work if you want to see like an overview of all the shops and collect that data?
Yeah, this scenario is actually for my booking managers who manage all of the shops. So all of the shop, like my portfolio is the Aloha Tattoo, and like they have 6 shops. So my booking managers get all the leads for those 6 shops. Like all of the online leads go over to them. So when I'm looking at like sales data specifically, if I wanted to look at the sales data a little bit more accurately for the shops, I would just log into their Stripe. We use a software called Homebase because we have front desks and people working inside of the shop. Those are the booking managers specifically those people are just looking at I'm just calculating the leads that are all just like going through them. The data that's actually happening in the shop, that's actually a different software that I would check.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it gets a little bit more complicated if we have 2 separate systems and stuff like that. And trust me, I have a floor of people that like when people walk in the shop and like my front desks close the tattoo or get them, I don't see that data with this system. I see it in a totally different system.
Yeah. The reason I asked is because I did door-to-door for pest control, and I saw a lot of opportunities utilizing AI, and one, like just overall like communication and working their leads, but 2, just like keeping their systems clean.
Yeah.
I'm currently trying to figure out which route I want to go with.
Okay.
For them specifically to use this. I think I don't know if it's the booking, but just like having those touch points with those leads that come in, or like deals that didn't drop off, and then like those that decide to cancel, getting them back on as a client. So that way there's not as many manual touch points as run like a sales agent. So that's what I think an area of interest that I'm dialing a little bit more in on niche wise, since I've already been in it. So that's why I'm like, all right, how does this look? Especially if there's multiple or different shops, basically.
That makes sense. And typically, how many doors are you knocking? And how many of those people who answer are you like creating a contact and doing follow-ups with manually?
Yeah, it would depend, right? It depends on the rep. Are they a rookie? Are they seasoned? Right? Some people might get anywhere from 100 to 200 plus doors. Not saying they're going to get all those contacts, but like some might get like a few deals a day, like 3 to 10. And then some of those outside of that scope would be like people who blue ball them, right? So it's like they're in the system, or maybe they like created an account, they're going to come follow up and they're like, oh, actually we changed our mind. So they're in the system, and that can range probably up to 4 to 10 people per person. Team of 20, the numbers start to stack up, and that's just underneath one person. That's not even counting. Yeah. So there's a high volume of people of leads, opportunities where it's like, okay, we don't want to just let these people go. Let's put them in the system, let's nurture them, and then freaking see if we can end up still getting them a client, whether it's this week, or next month.
Yeah. In that instance, I would probably just use like a CRM, like Go High Level or something like that, to nurture like those. What I would not advise somebody to do in whatever business is, if let's just say there's like a manual touch point, either it's a walk-in at a shop or you go and knock on someone's door and they open up and they want more information, at least collect their phone number. If you can collect their full name and email, then put them into some sort of text sequence, like a SMS like campaign, to follow up with them on like a meeting. I would honestly build that inside of the CRM inside of make.com. Yes, technically you can build it in make.com, but like something like Go High Level is going to be like storing that data if they like respond, if they or like they call. That's exactly what I would do, and it would count all of that information. But if you're trying to automate like those, if you're trying to automate those conversations, before I would even think about automating, because this is the thing with sales and AI automations, we want to think about it in the sense of it. Typically, I would automate like a sales motion if my sales team is overwhelmed and there's just so many of the leads that just need to be qualified, then yeah, I would build an AI automation. But if it's something where like the pipeline isn't that full and I have people that are available to talk and have a human conversation, for me as like a business or an AI enabler, I just wouldn't think that it's going to be worth it necessary. Let's just say I'm doing like, man, what's like an example? Let's just say I'm a door to door and I do about 100 knocks a day. Let's just say I have like 20% open rate. And then out of the 20 people that open the door, let's just say 10 of them want to book like a consultation appointment, but they're not available. So like those 10 people, yes, technically you can try to automate the sales motion, but actually like a human speaking over the phone is probably going to attribute more to a close compared to an AI that is obviously texting their number, like a chatbot. You know what I mean? Yeah, it could definitely be built in high level for sure. I would just recommend something like that would definitely be better. The sales metrics though, the reporting and figuring out like, let's just say how many people are door knocking on the team.
That varies. I'll just say 100 people.
Okay, so if there's 100 people, like those 100 people need to be managed by a sales manager. Something like this would make sense where they would do some sort of tracking. So at the end of every single day, they would track how many doors they knocked, how many people opened, etc. So like they can definitely track those numbers and you can analyze those. I could only imagine. I do this for 2 people. Like I have 2 sales booking managers. This can absolutely be built for those people for sure to see. Here are the top. You can even tell the AI calculate all of those daily recaps and give me like the top 5. If there's 100 people, give me the top 5 and actually mention the people who hit the highest in sales. And you could do that if you wanted to. You could do that every single day too. Like you get automation. So that'd be pretty cool. That's an instance where I would use the AI in addition to obviously like those automated SMS like nurture sequences or emails. I don't know if you guys would collect email, probably SMS because it's like local door to door. Yeah, shoot me over your number and I'll text you. I'll get you a quote, something like that, and then that shows intent. So
yeah, the reason I say that because like typically it's seasonal, right? So it's 4 to maybe 6 months. And throughout that time period, you got people that fall off. People that if you have 10, you can contact them that week. But start to add up daily, then weekly. So then you're not going to contact the person you knocked 2 months ago to then right. So the backlog becomes very heavy really quick. And then when you're not knocking, it's like, okay, you still had all these opportunities. You were interested, but you just never follow through. Like right now, I'm going through delinquent accounts, which is fine, but it's like, hey, if I could have caught that before coming out the season, how much more efficient could I have been?
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree on at least the beginning part, having that data so that the managers, because they're shitting on up on being able to see the reports, so they just get better insights. Because there is a tracking that they do, but I think that's an opportunity as well.
Yeah. If it's a longer sales cycle like that, and even if this is for an agency, Mohammed, and you're doing prospecting before the appointment, like before you book like a discovery call or something like that, you could definitely use AI to, let's just say you have the Google Sheets full of full names, as much information as much as possible in your prospecting list. And if you have their LinkedIn URL, the AI can actually create a personalized outreach message based off of all of the data. And like the coolest thing about the AI models now is it's able to pull data from URLs. So it's going to know the most up-to-date information that's on their LinkedIn, like stuff that they have achieved, stuff like things that they've posted, their milestones, or like the companies that they work with and stuff like that on like a big, large lead list. It's able to use that data since it's useful data, and then it's able to create personalized messages individually on that like lead list, that prospecting list, which like something like that would be really cool. And then you can also, Jay, incorporate that as well too with high level as well, and then actually do automated outbound sequences with Make. So you literally build an AI automation inside of Make, and then you'd use that specific like list to send out to your batch of customers. So this would be a workflow that you would send out to those people if you have that information available, like that prospecting list. And Mohammed, you could even use that as well too if you wanted to send more personalized outreach messages. Like when you're scaling your agency, like you're going to realize that it's more about outbound And like that, you're going to realize that you're like, oh, I reached out to 100 people and I only have, let's just say, one appointment booked on the calendar. There's two things there's two things why your appointment rate is low. It's A, you're probably reaching out to the wrong people, or B, your message is cookie cutter and it sucks, right? So this is where AI can come in and increase that significantly. If you reach out to 100 people and you're closing, let's just say your close rate primarily was like 1, but like you did like personalized messages on every single one of those, and that bumps to 3%, 5%, 10%, you're going to get significantly more people that book an appointment on your discovery. And then as a result, statistically, you're able to close more clients as well too in your AI agency. Yeah, that's just a little tip when you're running an agency. But yeah, when you're Mohammed, where are you currently at with Make? So I guess you guys are both learning Make. You guys are just trying to find various use cases to implement it in your businesses. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What are some of the challenges and difficulties that you guys are facing? Is it like you guys are browsing through templates, figuring out what AI automations to build or automations to build? Are you guys where are you guys at currently?
Mohammed, you can go first. I feel like you probably got a little bit more headway than I do. So
Yeah, so actually there was a guy, he contacted me. He works for a media agency. And what he does is that the media agency, they give him a Google sheet where there are leads on that Google sheet where they get from Facebook. So he wants me to build a chatbot for him so that it automatically sends an outbound SMS to those customers that are on the Google sheet. So that's what I'm figuring out, to do an outbound SMS on voice flow.
Okay. You trying to build it on VoiceFlow?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy. VoiceFlow is able to, I haven't really played around with VoiceFlow too much, but is it able to pull information from Google Sheets? Does it have that connection?
That's what I'm figuring out.
Okay. Is this like I guess technically you could build this in make.com. A lot of people don't know you can build AI chatbots in make.com. I'm going to show you how. Actually, this is actually a really cool use case. All right. So you're basically pulling data from Sheets, and then you are going to be using GPT for the AI. And then also, what's your deployment? How are you gonna, is it mainly like email, text? What does that look like?
I'm gonna be deploying it on WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Beautiful. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure WhatsApp. Yeah, they do. Okay. Yeah. No, you can build this. Okay. So we're gonna build this automation together. Let me go ahead and do this. Okay. You guys can see the bottom right of my screen right over here is AI, this button. So have you guys played around with the AI assistants in make.com yet?
No.
Oh my gosh. This is like, a lot of people they don't know what this is, but let me show you. Like you guys are gonna get your mind blown. So Mohammed, Jay, if you guys are using make.com, they have an AI that helps you build scenarios and automations. So if you guys knew that, if you guys didn't know that, definitely play around with it. This is like your scenario building. I want to build an AI chatbot that uses Google Sheets and OpenAI's GPT. It doesn't really matter. OpenAI's GPT to send messages on WhatsApp. Okay, so I want to build an AI chatbot that uses a lead list on Google Sheets and OpenAI's GPT to send messages on WhatsApp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this. I'm going to hit send. It's curing the agents, preparing the blueprints right over here. It's doing something. It's doing something. Oh, snaps. Ideally, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use AI to build. This is really cool. Wow. Done.
That's crazy.
I don't know if you guys knew that, but this is one of my favorite tools inside of make.com. So I'm using AI to build an AI automation. Fucking mind blown, mic drop. So basically, I'm going to explain this to you, Mohammed. What you do now is you would connect your Google Sheets, okay? This is the knowledge base. You would then use whatever AI model that you want, whether that's, you'd actually create a chat completion. This is what it is. Select your model, right? Let's just say I want to use GPT-4, and then It's going to come up with a prompt input, right? So this is the message. So you're in this prompt, you're going to do something like, you don't want to map this. So turn the map off. I don't like doing that. So the role, the system, you are a, let's just say, an appointment setter, XYZ, right? You just type what the system is, and then you do the assistant, and this is the prompt, right? It's going to be analyze this sheet right over here. Like it would know, like you would basically just, when you, obviously I haven't synced it, I haven't put the connection, but you do like the Google sheet here. This would be when you click this, and then do XYZ, right? And then basically here you do WhatsApp. So you'd obviously create your WhatsApp, you'd connect the number that you want to be texting out, and that's your chatbot. It's that simple. And then you'd basically, so if this is let's just say you have a list of those leads or the prospects you want to reach out to individually, then this would be a workflow where you would just run it whenever you demand it to. Or you could also configure this to be an AI automation as well too, where like a Google sheet, and then when, so the logic is when there's like a new contact that gets added to the sheet, then it would run this automation that sends out like a message. Does that make sense? Like an AI automation. So an AI automation versus an AI workflow. An AI automation is if it's continuously running, if this is going to be like, this automation is going to be like running in continuum. A workflow is like where you have to like manually go in and then press this button right here in order to execute the scenario. So does that make sense? So hopefully this helps, Mohammed. I wanted to show you the AI feature. To show you guys both the AI feature. Thanks for bringing that.
Yeah, it is helpful, but the thing is that I actually need a voice flow chatbot. And if you're doing it with ChatGPT, it won't be that much customizable. And the chatbot that I am building, it has to convince the user to buy the offer of that SMMA. So I don't think it would be like possible to do it with ChatGPT. I'm not sure. I haven't tried. I just signed up, I think yesterday, to make.com. So I don't think,
I think they have an API. So you can technically use voice flow in here. Yeah, they do have an API. So yeah, technically you'd be able to use Make and voice flow, technically. Yeah, they have an external API. I think you'd buy it for $25, but you're able to, let's just see what you're able to do. Upload document, searches. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'd have to look into it a little bit. I would have to look into it a little bit more, but it seems like VoiceFlow has capabilities inside of here. So once you install that, looks like someone else, there's two. I would look into the capabilities. I'd probably use this one. I bought APIs from this guy before. Okay. So this one's only gonna be like $40. That's what's up. Yeah, Mohammed, you can use this second one. Yeah, this one right here by Synergetic, and then you can technically build that in make.com with your connection. So what I would do is, yeah, that's exactly what I do. I would connect your Google Sheet, then go into this voice flow right here, connect that voice flow, and then just connect your WhatsApp. Yeah, I'm thinking about it now. That'd probably be easier, honestly. Because how many times are you going to be using this automation? Is it going to be running on autopilot? Is he going to give you the leads and then he wants you to just reach out to them individually?
Yeah, individually.
Okay. Yeah, I would build something like that. You should be able to build this in VoiceFlow as well too. But what are you trying to do in VoiceFlow that you can't do currently? Is it the Google Sheets integration?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to look into it more, but that's something. Hopefully, I want you to try that and see if that works inside of make.com. And it probably is going to work using that, because I was looking into this scenario, or I was looking into the app that Synergetic made, and it seems like you're able to do, you want to look into the modules and see what the actions it's able to do. So it should be able to work. Oh yeah, they have upload a new document by URL. So technically you can use that Google Sheets URL for that knowledge base. So it should be able to work
Okay.
and make. Yeah. That's cool. I love that. I didn't know that Basuel had an API in Make, or someone made it. That's cool. Yeah. That's awesome. That's sweet. Have you tried VoiceFlow before, Jay?
No, I looked into it though. That was my thing when your question you asked earlier. It's like,
Yeah.
where are you? I'm just like, first of all, there's a lot of shit out there. Second of all, I'm figuring out what's going to be the opportunity I want to focus in on, because I was looking at like chat boxes on like websites, because there's a couple different companies like pest control that they have it. And when I was going through it, I'm like, they're not even collecting data from it. So I'm like, okay, how are you not easily just collecting information before getting your chat going or stuff like that?
Mhm.
So I was just trying to figure out what's the opportunities, what do some of them look like,
Okay.
and which one I'm going to focus in on. So
That's actually that's a really good discussion to have. Mohammed is actually building an AI chatbot agency, so as well too. So yeah, I want to break down the chatbot discussion actually while we're here. So yeah, with AI chatbots, a lot of people are going to go the route of deploying the chatbot on a website, right? It's an outdated model. A lot of people don't talk about this on the internet because again, they don't collect the information. They don't collect anything really. The more powerful deployment options personally are going to be the WhatsApps, the Slacks, the in my opinion, I think the best one that I've been using, my favorite one is in Go High Level for their AI conversational agents or something like that. That syncs with Twilio, which it's able to text people back and forth. We went over that earlier, Mohammed, in our previous call. The reason why I don't like the chatbots on the website is fundamentally you have website visitors that are going to be going on the website. Like, how many reach out to? Have you guys ever used a chat widget on a website to reach out to a business? No, I honestly don't. I typically search for a button that has a form that reaches out to the business, right? What you can do after that, when the lead submits that form, then you can have the AI reach out to that person. Does that make sense? And it's probably going to be a much higher close rate. It's just so V1. Yeah, technically you can do that with a lot of chatbot builders. All chatbot builders should be able to build functions where you're able to deploy the chatbot on the website, but practically it just doesn't make sense for a lot of the businesses. I think what does make sense is going to be like those deployment options when you're able to deploy it there. And again, you can build it in make.com. You can build it using no-code chatbot builders, VoiceFlow, Chatbot Kit. Liam made one as well too. You're able to deploy the GPTs pretty much anywhere. Those are all great, but you always, whenever you're like doing like the chatbots, you want to, oh, it looks like Mohammed left. You want to make sure that you put the deployment first. Like you want to think about where it should be sent out first.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I would definitely play around with Go High Level, Jay, if you're using that one. Because like the thing is that if you're using a software, use it.
Yeah, I used it when I was with Agency Box, and for some reason I feel like I used a variation of GHL like years ago with the fintech company. I just never dove into it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'll say it was saturated, right? But you had a lot of people like, oh, like we're going to give you a system, a CRM system, automated system. I'm like, oh, okay, you're using GHL. Got it.
Yeah.
Not a bad way, but like at that
Yeah.
current time period, it's like, oh, okay, like
Yeah.
sure.
That can be another opportunity as well too. There's a lot of people that use Go High Level, but they don't know, just like they don't know like that there's an AI conversation AI. That's what it's called. They don't know that they have that in their plan. So you can build a business like that if you wanted to scale your chatbot agency. You can help people that are using Go High Level, which there's like the total addressable market with people that use Go High Level but don't know how to use it is huge, and you can make a lot of money showing them how to do it. AI business idea, that'd be a really good vertical. But yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, it's really cool. I think the deployment with Twilio is just like going to be the best.
You were saying GHL with Twilio?
Yeah, since GHL uses Twilio, let me actually show you what I'm gonna show you what it actually looks like in here. Let this load. So if you go in settings in conversation AI, when you enabled Twilio, which is when you're able to text people, you just go over here, right? And then you just enable it inside of here. It's actually like super, super simple. There's two ways that you can use it and go high level. There is suggestive, which I've enabled because I think it's like the best in the business in the use case that I did, or you can do autopilot, which is this is going to automate the sales motions. Suggestive, did I ever run you through what this does?
No, but I think I can kind of pick it up. What is?
Okay. Yeah. So basically, the suggestive, I'll show you because I have people that are logging in and go high level. My booking managers use this daily. I trained it on the knowledge base on here. It's a Google document, which is basically the prompt. So right, so it has the you are this, do this, etc. And I trained it with FAQs. And then basically, when my sales team, it's like they get all the leads over here. When they consult with people, like here, they click over here. This is what the AI suggested responses do. So my sales team doesn't. So this is optimized for them to increase their closing rate. They'd get like these suggested messages right here, which is like super. Like they wouldn't have to type it. They just click send.
Yeah.
Because my sales team is going to be like the fuck. But yeah, so that's basically what it is.
Gotcha. And for automated, it would just go ahead and pick one of those kind of like.
Yes, correct. It would pick the first one and then it would automatically send it out.
Yeah. Can't you also prompt it, or I don't know the correct word. So excuse my ignorance, but prompt it to be like, hey, be able to roll objections or be able to layer. I thought so, but that's all.
Yeah, that's where the Q&A is. So with the questions, that's where you'd input the objection, and then the answer would be what you want the AI to output. So yeah, technically in Go High Level, you can already deploy an AI chatbot that runs on autopilot technically. And one of the coolest things, I didn't mention this as well too when Mohammed was here, but the AI is able to scan calendars. So it's like when people are asking for availability, and I think that's where the value is going to be added. This is, you have the V1 chatbots that are doing back and forth Q&A, like whatever, like that's V2 is like when it's able to like, yeah, let me check the calendar. Okay, so this day's open. Does that work with you? And then it's able to actually book the appointment on the calendar. Fucking crazy.
That's right. Yeah, I know that was like one of the things, like, of course, while we were knocking, trying to look at availability, go through the whole thing. But I'm also thinking, okay, if people come to the website, yeah, you can book with a consultant, or like I can have an agent to run through it, and or in the pipeline of the deals that never went through, or people that churn, trying to get them back on, and it just automatically goes through it. Seeing what does that look like in the area of opportunity there, because I'm like, don't get me wrong, like cool, it's good knocking, building a team, doing all that. It's not like the longevity of what I want to do. So it's okay, if the future's going here and utilizing these tools, what does that now look like still in this like industry?
Yeah. I love that. And that's exactly what I think about every single day too.
Yeah.
I think what it can do is automate like the nurture sequences as well too. Let's just say you have an automated drip campaign. Automated, it could be email or text and Go High Level, but basically, let's just say the CTA in that is text this if you need help or whatever, and they want some sort of like help service. Then yeah, you can also enable conversation AI to reach out to that lead, because the humans on the team should be busy knocking on doors.
Correct. Yeah.
The human things, and then that AI 100% can be used to automate like sales / customer service with conversation AI. You just have to tell it what to do.
Yeah.
That'd be like brother, you can build that in 5 minutes. Then, you know what I mean?
Sounds like it. I'm like, all right, what do I, how and what?
Most people are just trying to figure out, like, they get stumbled on, and this is something that I've realized with AI automations, and I've done this as well too. It's you do all this research, you look into different deployment options, you try to think about it. You're like, oh man, technically I can do that. And what I do now is I just build it and I just deploy it, and I test it out and see if it works. And then I just ask the people like, hey, can you test this really quick? If you have a couple of minutes, and they test it, be like, oh, wow, that's actually really cool. Like they text the booking number, and they're like, they'd get like a response, and they're like, oh, yeah, it works. Whoa, wait, that wasn't you? And I'm like, all right, cool, it worked. You know what I mean? They're like, wait, what? How did you do that? And I was like, I didn't. That was the point. Okay, cool. I'm back. So like,
thanks for that. Cool.
All right, thanks.
Oh,
but
that's
yeah,
crazy.
always figure out like when you're trying to find use cases, like always figure out like what, like I think about it in like in a sense of like deployment. Like it's more of, yeah, I can build an AI chatbot. The fundamental purpose of an AI chatbot is to automate communication. Okay, what areas in the business can I automate communication? What do the people in the company typically don't like? It typically is like customer service. It's going to be like nurturing old sales leads, trying to warm them up. That's just like what people don't like to do, and this is what I can apply it. You can also build B2E. So you have B2B, which is just like business to business. Your B2C is business to customer. So like the chatbots talking to the customers, it's front facing. One of my other favorite ones is B2E, which is just like the business is you're automating communication, internal communication with the company. So like in a company has like different departments. All right, I'll give you an example. The HR department is fundamentally there to help employees get the support they need. Right. So with an HR department, there's usually some sort of like outline. In the HR department, they have like they have an operating agreement, or like they have help documentation. So my AI chatbot hat is going to go on and be like, okay, that's a large document. I can use that to create a chatbot, internal employee chatbot, so that people can not only just talk to an HR representative and wait over the phone and try to get the information they need. They can just talk to the chatbot, and that chatbot's able to get the information they need from that help document. So you think that's like when I'm thinking about automating communication, that's something that you can do as well too. You can also automate the IT department as well. You have, and a lot of companies have IT help docs, right? Imagine the more you grow, the more questions that people are going to have in regards to related help desk questions. It's like, how do I log on to this, or how do I do this? And help doc, chatbot. Now all those people talk to the chatbot, and like that chatbot would pull the information from that help document and then give them the information they need with links, etc. And the coolest part about that is those help docs, if it's hosted on a URL, that knowledge base can be edited and changed. I think it's pretty cool. But like in retrospect, if let's just say there's a process or something that needs to be changed in the help doc, it would change the GPT's response the moment that knowledge base, if that knowledge base changes, it changes. But you can use that in a company. You can literally try to like that. That's when I'm trying to figure out like deployment options for chatbots. I'm like, oh shoot, that's a big one. And that is a big one. A lot of companies do need IT support. There's a lot companies typically don't have an IT help desk.
Yeah, no.
They usually just go to a person, and that person has to figure it out, right? So if you create a chatbot that's like an IT chatbot, or like inside of High Level, you're able to create like a IT help desk with a separate phone number, right? You could also build this in WhatsApp, or there's a lot of things that you could do. You could train that knowledge base on something, right? Like a website or like a employee handbook PDF or whatever, and then use that chatbot internally for them to communicate with to get the support they need. And as a result, if all the individuals, especially if it's 100 people plus, like companies can be big, when you're able to provide that support and reduce the responsibilities in an HR department. And I'm not a big proponent on get rid of. I'm a big proponent on try to automate things where they're inefficient. That HR department can actually work with the chatbot, they can update that HR department is actually going to have to they're going to have to adapt to work to essentially update the knowledge base, or to update like that PDF or like that operating agreement or that help desk. And then they would essentially, let's just say like a person in the company wants to speak to a human rep, then that chatbot could be like, all right, sounds good. Here's her calendar. And then they'll just book the appointment on her calendar. But 90% of the time, they're probably going to get the information they need on the help desk.
Correct.
It's fucking cool. No one talks about that. No one talks about that. They're like, yeah, let's put the chatbot on the website. There's so many other deployment options. Like just understand it fundamentally, then you're able to apply it practically. Yeah. Right.
That's reminded me, like back in 2018, I worked with a company called CDW. It was like at the time Fortune 200 company, hardware, software, and we looked at the internal systems. Like I was looking at the design, the wireframes of the communication across the board. And now in my mind, I'm like, that would have been perfect. Like, how do you take the language from like sales and then tech, and it's, hey, I need to take all this technical jargon, dumb it down for a sales rep to take it, and then start to speak to clients.
Yeah. AI is really good at translating as well too. If you ask an AI to dumb it down to like third grade level, it's able to do that pretty well. And I think like between the tech department, like the sales department, and like the IT department, something like that, putting an AI in between to automate like the the breaking down the terms in layman terms, it can actually be pretty useful. But yeah, that's so cool, man. Yeah, it is.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot in a good way.
Yeah, that's why we have departments. It makes sense. Like
Facts.
your department is like sales and people management, like IT, tech, and all that stuff. Oftentimes, they're just gonna go over our head. It's shit. Yeah.
Anytime somebody, like one of my buddies, his name's Justin. He's he's software, hardware, like coding, whatever.
Mhm.
And we have conversations all the time. And you're not gonna understand this. I'm like, I'm happy I'm not gonna understand this. Dumb it down.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, to where I can then understand it.
100%. Yeah.
But that's where I'm at. Just seeing which of those focus I want to apply it to. I'm still interested in the info product space and seeing how that can work. But I think just on the sales process side, because that's what I know. It's like, all right, let me start there.
Yeah.
And then deploy these options or opportunities.
Mm-hmm. How do you see it in the info product space? I'm curious.
Say it again.
How do you see it working, AI working in the info product space?
It was still being like the sales. So in general, I'm looking like sales process.
Okay.
So nurturing, follow up,
Okay.
outbound, closing out deals, not having to really have people like getting on the calls, being able to have the conversations, close out deals. That's the side I would look at. So sales agents, basically.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Nice. Yeah. No, I could definitely be built for sure. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, because I know a couple of people I've seen, they're like, oh, like automated appointment setting or something else. And I was like, cool. I'm like, I want to take a step further. It's like, how do you really get them to close out the opportunities, not just set the appointment?
Sure.
I had talked about that for a little bit. He was just like, you might have a slight lower close rate, but it's like if you think about the volume, you're then able to get.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It is a fine balance for sure. Typically, like when the average order value or like the price of the product increases, this is usually when you want to think about incorporating more of a human component.
Correct.
But like when you're dealing with volume, this is where AI can help the people follow up sequences and stuff like that. Like you're dealing with hundreds, if not thousands of people. Humans not able to do that. But always think about the two most important people in the company, which is like your team, the employees, and also like your customers. So it's like when you're thinking about automating some sort of process, you want to think about it in the sense of put their shoes on and think about it in the sense, let's just say I'm purchasing like a $1,500 course. And the process should realistically be like, let's reverse engineer it. Landing page, VSL, let's just say I get some sort of freebie. I book a free call like on like a calendar. And like from there, it can either be like a 1cc or like a 2cc, two call close. If that person doesn't make a decision, you're dealing with a lot of other people in the pipeline. That's when I would incorporate the AI, where it's like you're dealing with volume of people. But I wouldn't necessarily, just because I say this a lot, and I'll continue to say it a lot, just because you can automate something doesn't necessarily should. I would think about it in the sense of that. But there are other use cases apart from that. But yeah, we still have to really think about it and like how can I improve the customer experience. And I would definitely say oftentimes they don't want to talk. People wouldn't want to talk to an AI chatbot before they like put down $1,500 for a coaching product, right? They'd want some sort of like person helping like them out. It might be different in various industries, but I think with the info product, at least if I'm buying like a coaching program or whatever, it'd be like that. It wouldn't be super automated. I'm thinking nurture, yeah, but not like up to the sale. Like that lead is hot. You got to close that lead with a human. So
that's figuring that side out. That's why I've been hearing or like listening to people. What are they doing? What are their agencies? Or their like, what route did they end up going? I'm like, okay, so this is how it varies. From case to case. But I think there's a point where I'm still interested more on not more, but to a degree leaning in on pest control because I think just overall it's easier to make things more efficient, which then becomes better. Because I remember even like when we were knocking, I was just like, okay, I have no idea the ETA of like when the tech was going to get there. I don't know when they were done. So then like the other client didn't know like when it was coming. It's like, hey, cool. It's just a simple push of a button or something to where then that person is notified, like, hey, person's en route. Or I'm like, okay, can we streamline this communication
Yeah.
So like reps are okay. They don't have to focus in on that. They could just close out deals. The other technicians are good to go. I don't know. It's just my mind started running when I was out there. I was just like, why isn't these things put in place? Or
Yeah.
what does it look like to them? Where's those opportunities?
Yeah. No, I get that. That's something that we're still going to be facing, I think, even with AI. I think with AI, it might make things even more complicated. But if you use it the correct way, it could make things more efficient. But like figuring out what the correct way to use it is exactly where we're currently at.
Yeah. Not a bad place necessarily to be at. I don't think.
What do they call it? Shiny object syndrome. It's like, oh man, there's all
Yeah.
these AI automation that I build, use cases and stuff like that. I was talking to Mohammed a couple of days ago on our onboarding call, and I'm like, most people are still trying to figure out where this technology, like the applications for this technology and like the business, like they don't even know how to build like 3 modules in Make, but that's where most people are.
Yeah.
Right. Then like when you get into the technical, like you're building voice flow agents and it gets really complex and you have to build all these routes and all these things for something where it's, let's just say for his scenario, let's just say there's 10 people on that Google Sheets list. It's like, why would you build an AI on it? Just call them, bro. Just call them. You don't have to automate it. You know what I mean? But that's like my purpose in the industry. It's I'm not super like, I'm an advocate for AI, but I'm more of an advocate for people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If it just makes sense to have a more human-like conversation, human conversation, do it. But yeah. Like all these features that are coming out, I'm more scared to see when it starts to evolve towards like it gets closer to how a human is. What I'm most nervous about is like I guess the loss in human connection with the businesses, and like they're just going to solely rely on AI to increase sales. And it's just like I do think, I do think it's going to be challenging for the world moving forward.
It's definitely going to be interesting of how we adapt to it. Yeah, I don't know what that necessarily looks like, but
It's gonna be it's gonna be weird. But yeah, there's the thing is like with the software, with the internet and like the big software boom, it's like the companies that focused more on the fundamental problems are the ones that are still here today. And I think that it's going to be like pretty much the same. If I'm building an AI agency, if I'm building a software, if I'm building a business, I'm going to focus on one thing in one vertical and be the best at it. You know what I mean? That's how I think it's going to be adopted and widespread. And it's going to look like that.
No, it makes sense. I think like what you just said, it reminded me of a quote where it's, I don't compete, I dominate. So you're like, hey, I compete in all these things. I just want to dominate this specific fucking piece of the pie, and it's a piece of the pie.
Yeah. We live in an interesting day and age where I feel as if the world is so focused on production. They're just so focused on that versus we neglected craftsmanship. You know what I mean? To a certain extent. And it's just, I still want people to have that component of their business where like when they're building an AI automation, they think about it in a sense of you're building a system like that is like it's supposed to be fine-tuned. It's supposed to be like very detailed and intricate. You're supposed to take your time on it. Versus people are just like trying to build this automation that, has this technical thing and this thing. I'm trying to like scale to 10K a month. And it's just like, where's the enjoyment in that? You know what I mean? But
I get it. So you want to make as much money as possible, I think, to escape a certain area of scarcity to where then like people are like, okay, now I can have fun, or now I can serve more. I think that's where any opportunity, not just like the AI, but any business opportunity, that's the tough part from people because they're typically coming out of scarcity. So they're not even worried about that yet until they get their own comfort. And it's like, all right, now I can focus on the needs of actual people.
Totally. And this is where I think a lot of people are gonna, like in the agency space, where people find their niches and then they're gonna be stuck to their niches. I see the same wave with AI. People are gonna be like the I suppose the most skilled in whatever vertical that they're in. Like the niche that I'm in currently right now is like software, AI, and like tattoos. It's so incredibly niche, but I'm not gonna go in any other route because that's my bread and butter.
So how is that then? Because you have, first of all, again, dope ass fucking video for your 10-year plan.
Yeah.
I watched it again the other day. I was just like, fire.
Mhm.
Because you have the tattoo shop software, which I know your software is like also a different
Mhm.
component because it's more of like the creative space.
Yeah.
How are you, like, I don't say differentiating, but in the sense of, because you're saying like you're going to be stuck in this niche, not in a bad way, but like you're just
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to categorize this, but you're
Yep.
also in a way categorizes two different ones. How are you planning on navigating between like the creative software and then like agency tattoo shop?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So yeah, with Ideafy, it's more so for people who want to delve into AI. So it's a very beginner, elementary level. It's an AI adoption platform. So like people can go in. The whole point of that is they go in and they like look at tools and like they learn pretty much how it's being used. And then we're gonna add more functionalities of AI automations and workflows inside of those, so you're able to like literally shop for AI automations and workflows. The other component with Fi is we build AI automations. I actually closed it off because honestly, I don't need to take on any more AI projects, but I had an offer that I discontinued 3 months ago, where it's like unlimited AI automations done for you building. Like we would build any sort of AI solution you want, whether that's a tool, that's a chatbot, that's a workflow or automation. We would build that for a fixed cost, but you can submit unlimited requests. So it was a productized service, right? So it's like you want like the blog post tool in Ideafy, but you want your own blog post tool that's configured a little bit more specific to your company. It's like you can request that, then we're going to build one a month for that. I'm focusing more on my shops right now because I've built so many AI solutions for my shops that I want to use for other tattoo studios. What I want to do is I'm trying to build like my portfolio of companies, right? So tattoo studios, like that's like what I know how to scale the most. And then I'm also delving into, since I have a software, like I want to incubate the software companies as well too. Like my friend yesterday, I was talking to him. He's interested in AI and he works in construction full time. He has a construction company and he's like, there's a lot of problems in the construction space. And I know that AI can solve these problems, but I don't know how to build the software. And he's like, there's actually a lot of opportunity in that, because what is construction anyways? It's like one of the biggest difficulties in construction is like calculating, doing logistics, like doing project management. Like AI can definitely help design blueprints, create contracts. I'm like, so opportunities like that really excite me. So with Ideafy, with the AI Academy, with my like venture company, like I'm like wanting to go like the acquisition.com route. I'm mainly focused on building Ideafy so that I can actually build the AI solutions that people need in the AI Academy, so they can see like exactly in real time. Oh, this guy's like he's actually built AI solutions, like all of these, like they're in Ideafy, stuff like that. The AI Academy is really just to help people adopt AI. It's pretty much that simple. It's if you're interested in AI in the future, but you don't know how to make it productive and profitable in your business, then you join the AI Academy to learn how to pretty much do everything with that. And then out of the people that go through the AI Academy chronologically, this is why I designed the courses in the way that I did, where it's like you have the beginner AI crash course, you have tools and softwares, and you go all the way to the software incubator. It's like people are going to go through that whole process and come up with their own software companies. The transition from, for example, like an agency to a software company, a lot of companies are doing that. Why? It's because that agency had a lot of data points and they saw a lot of trends, and they're deploying software able to solve those problems at a cheaper cost. That's why a lot of agencies transition to software.
Yeah.
So,
It's interesting. What's called doing that? Did you say Iman?
Yeah, Iman's doing that. Yeah, exactly. A lot of like so many agencies, and that's one of the coolest transitions I've seen. And then the portfolio of companies. Like I honestly, my biggest passion is I love building software. It's like really cool. So if I can deploy AI in my tattoo shops and come up with like really cool use cases and be like, hey, I can actually see this automation being applied in like this vertical in this industry. And like people in my AI Academy are like trying to figure out how to build an AI business. And I'm like, why don't you just do this for this industry? Copy my systems. I don't care. We're not competing against each other. You're not gonna like help tattoo shops. It's a really high barrier to entry. So I don't care. Steal my templates. That's what the AI Academy is for. And then also with my venture company, I have a couple of tattoo studios right now. And at this point, I don't know what to do with them, to be honest, because we've literally put out two of our leading competitors in Waikiki and in the state of Oahu. We're literally the market leader I don't know what to do anymore. Literally, like we took nine of our competitors' artists, and like now they're working for us, and it's just like their leases are over, and it's just like I don't know, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm venturing into incubating software companies, because this is where it's okay, cool, I'm gonna do this and this. Like the shops are gonna still be running on the back end.
Cool.
The shops are like doing pretty well, but I see a lot of opportunity with the software. So that's like the ecosystem in a sense that I didn't really explain in the video, but like it's my software Ideify is like where people they will come into the AI Academy due to the fact that they know that I have built the thing.
Correct. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would be really difficult to actually join an AI Academy with an AI influencer that I don't know. And I'm like, okay, what's their agency? It's what do they build? So that's why we have that. Or like people come in, they're like, I want to build something like that. It's like, how did you build it? And I was like, no code. It's I built it using no code software. Like it's crazy. It's you can do that. So that's like the vehicle. But that bigger play is the one that I explained in the $100 million AI plan video. That will be honestly done through exiting with a multiple, right? So let's just say you had a software company that's doing about $1 million a year. Software companies typically sell from 8 to 10x multiples. Yeah. So like you're able to sell that at a multiple of 10. So it's like you'd sell at like 10 million and then use that and invest it invest it to another company as well too, in exchange for equity, and just keep repeating that. I think that's where most of the wealth is made. In, for example, Alex Hormozy, this is where his wealth was made, is honestly due to exits. He made, I think, like 42 million or something like that. So yeah, he sold his gym launch infrastructure to Caleb Owens in like a VC firm. So it's like he made that much money. Then he just like now it's transitioned into software. Now it's like school, and then he's probably gonna make a fat exit if he decides to exit. But like the thing is, I don't even think like money to him is probably so relative. $100 is probably like a penny to us. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Well, that's just the game, right? So if you're like at that level, like that, and this is where I think the opportunity levers are in business. And I think that I can help a lot of people, I guess, because like they go on YouTube, they search up how to make money with an online business or AI. Like they don't see that full picture of, even if you're making 10K a month, like that's suitable for a lot of people. And that's great. And honestly, if that's an endpoint for a lot of people, live your life, go to Colombia, go to all these places and live off of disproportionate relative income so that you're making more in relatively compared to the person in the US that has higher expenses making 500K a year, right? Live your life. That's cool. A lot of people are actually really interested in building companies that have equity value and like selling it, but they just don't know how. So this is exactly why I built the AI Academy. It does go full circle. And like everyone knows that AI is the future, but we all don't know what it looks like.
Correct. Yeah.
And my caveat would be, I don't know what it looks like as well too. Stop asking me what it looks like in the future, because it really depends on what we do today.
Yeah, that's a bar.
You see what I'm saying?
That's a bar, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So what should I do in the future? So try to figure out what we do today. What problems can we solve? And if you find a correlation to the problems that you solve, you can create a really lucrative business out of it. So run with that. I don't know what your business, I was like, if you focus on building AI chatbots and pest control, and that eventually evolves to something else that looks completely different in the future, but is making $1 billion, right? Fucking run with it, bro. There's so many different ways, but yeah, I think it is like a God giving me this opportunity to put me in a position where I can help people see what this technology is able to do. And I think, yeah, there's a lot of potential in it. So
say less, brother. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it is excited, but that was a bar.
My YouTube is flooded with like different AI stuff.
Yeah, same.
I'm just like, I realized that the other day. I was just like, okay,
yeah,
I understand this now.
Yeah, it's a wave of content creators, because the easiest thing to do in business is to create content, but the hardest thing to do is actually to like build towards solving the problem. So I think, I think it's going to be a fun time, man. I think we're going to see new Imans come out of the space as a result. Like the agency wave is still here. It's still a great business model, but that's a cool part about when you pass the baton. You have a new generation of people that are leading. I think it's all going to be a fun time. I think, like, in my perspective, Sam Ovens, right? Sam Ovens, he was like the G back then, consulting.com. He was fucking like, he made so much money. I think that Alex Ramosi is going to become like a Sam Ovens. I think that Iman is going to come like a Sam Ovens. I think Iman's going to become like a Ty Lopez, right? And all these people are just going to like slowly phase out. And then we're going to get like new people. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? I think people like Lee Motley are going to become like the Iman Gadgis. And then we're just going to see more and more people that are just going to come in the space. Because as technology evolves, like the people have to evolve as well too. And this is exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Gotta get in early.
We are building the future today. That's exactly what's going on.
Why do I feel like that's like a Steve Jobs fucking quote?
You probably thought of it before, but that's literally what we're doing. Yeah. I look up to people like that as well too, because like people back then used to think that he was crazy. He was just like, man, like people aren't going to be using like these little devices to listen to music all the time. It's what? But I don't know, man. It's like, it's pretty. What's crazy is the consensus with AI. Like I would say like everyone does see it be like everyone's, oh yeah, this is powerful technology. That's crazy, because if you were to like survey people about the smartphones back then, it's like, it might have potential, but people are like, with AI, it's, oh yeah, this technology is. That's the interesting part, because there's no other technology that has ever been created that's been like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The printing press, for example, it's but like people are gonna have to learn how to read, and then it might take a while. We might catch up to it. We've come a long way. The iPhone, it's like the same thing. People back then were like, Amazon, for example, it's like, why would I go to this thing and buy a book online where I could just go to my Barnes & Noble across the street to buy a book? AI, totally different conversation, man. It's just like,
this makes sense.
People that are just like, I don't know what it is. I've never even used ChatGPT before. Like, I'm just so far away from it. I know that this is the future. The fact that they know, it's like, whoa. It's like, whoa. So that's what really excites me about this whole thing and this whole ride, is that everyone is just like, man, everyone is witnessing I think the moment when Apple honestly releases more AI in their products, like AI chips and hardware and stuff like that, the public is going to be more receptive and it's going to be more accepting of it.
Yeah, it was crazy because I didn't pay attention to it till I started really diving deeper into the space. I was just like searching on Google on my laptop, and then I realized even Google search has like at the very top AI generated fucking things, and I was just it just smacked me in the face. I was like, "What?
Oh my gosh,
get here!" I was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." It started like obviously Notion has it and like the other different tools, but I was just like, "Okay."
Yeah,
like it is progressing. It is getting there, regardless if people realize it or not. It's just what's going to be the factor to smack people in the face. And I think what you said, like Apple incorporating it and all these other companies, where it just becomes a part of the day-to-day life, is going to be.
What's crazy about AI as well too is when people say like, when this technology is evolving, it's yes, there are engineers that are working to further advance this technology. However, ChatGPT 3.5 literally fine-tuned the code for ChatGPT 4. So the AI literally created a better version of itself.
Mm-hmm.
In ChatGPT 4, that was like months ago. That was almost like, it feels like almost a year ago. So it's crazy whenever I think about this technology, it's who's really making these further advancements in AI. Yes, I do think to a certain degree, yes, it's these really high level engineers, like these people who work with like deep learning and machine learning and stuff like that. But like, they are getting help from the AI. So as this model evolves, it's like working on itself. It's so weird.
What I think that's also is what I think is interesting. It depends on your perspective about it, but then you look at the show like the movies I, Robot and other shows with AI and robotics. It's okay, then where the hell are we headed? Because if this thing just ends up progressing itself, outsmart. It's not in a negative way, but it's just more curious of, okay, you do have to be mindful of that. How do you potentially combat that as well?
That's definitely a possibility in the future. Hopefully not the near future, for sure.
Yeah, hopefully I'm dead and gone by then.
Yeah. That's what really scared anything that has to do with drones or robots. I think can cause like a very dystopian society. But I think within our lifetime, for sure, the AI that is going to be like the most dangerous definitely will be the software that's able to manipulate our thoughts, beliefs, feelings, like the algorithms on social media. That's all AI. I think that deepfakes is going to be a real issue as well too. We've seen it a little bit.
I
It's been
I feel like it's already
yeah, it's already here. But yeah, I think like people using AI in the wrong way is more dangerous than the actual technology in and of itself. But no, it definitely is an interesting thought for sure. I think that this technology will create millionaires and billionaires due to people that are AI entrepreneurship is like a term that has been used a little bit in the space. And I think that if you're an AI, if you're using AI, it's just going to emphasize more of the person that you are. It's if you're an entrepreneur, be a mega entrepreneur. If you are a programmer, you're going to be a badass programmer. If you're going to come whip code that typically takes you 3 hours, it can take you 3 minutes. If you are a software owner, or if you want to become a software owner, you can build some pretty amazing applications using it. So it's going to be better. It's going to be it's going to be an extent of what people are already currently doing. It might look a little bit like different. But as a result, like we're just seeing like an influx of all these software companies being built. We're seeing like an influx of all these agencies being built. And it's going to be, so there's a lot of opportunity in it for sure. Yeah. For people like us who want to make money with it, you just have to figure out, okay, what problems do I want to focus on solving and be really good at solving that one problem. And then you want to build a fucking empire because you're the best at it.
Yeah, it's been interesting personally because my head's been in 3 different spaces with like the info automations and still like the door-to-door pest control because there's a lot of opportunity. But I'm like, I don't want to do the sales side recruitment phase. So I'm like, how do I now capitalize on this with automations and AI and still incorporate it because there is a huge opportunity there and it's growing. So I'm like, how do I quickly bridge that gap? So one, I can replace myself out of specifically what I was doing and then create an opportunity. And I think that's where I'm going to navigate currently with the learning and shit.
Yeah. I would think about it in the sense of instead of thinking about like where I want to replace myself sometimes as well too, I would think about like where do I want to extend myself? Because technically, I replaced myself with my sales team. I sent out those like sales reports and the business owners read it and they see how the sales team did. But I'm not gonna like dip and not be available for them. So I think it really should be like it makes me more available for the people in the company is what I'm trying to say. Correct. So that's exactly what I think the main value add is as well too. So try to just like when you're thinking about building like those AI solutions, think about it in the sense of like how can it extend what I'm currently already doing? How can this AI automation, for example, how can this make other people's lives and work a bit more enjoyable? Like you'd be surprised. I sometimes like putting on my software hat. You have to constantly ask people for feedback, and it should be done more oftentimes than not. I think a lot of agency owners don't do this enough. Asking like their clients, hey, like how can I make this service better? Like how can I fulfill better on the service, or like how can I have this to be a little bit more enjoyable for you? And they give you that feedback, and like you'd be surprised creating solutions based off of like those feedback. So you're at a point where you're trying to figure out you have 3 routes, right? You have boom. My biggest piece of advice is I would see which one you have, I guess, the most interest and passion for. And it sounds like cliche advice, but it's just like, if you think that there are like focus on the bigger problems as well too. Because my perspective exactly with the AI Academy was like, I can have the perspective of I want to build a school group to make like an X amount of like MRR and get as many users in my company. Like now it is my duty to help as many entrepreneurs incorporate AI in their business and hopefully help other people use that knowledge to incorporate in other businesses. Yeah. So that's what really excites me. And I'm going in like these 3 directions. However, like as I start to like see it in that lens, it's whoa. What I'm doing is actually like pretty crazy now. Now that I think about it, we're young. We're the generation that has technology at our fingertips, and like the older people that are like in their 30s, 40s, 50s, I promise you they're not going to figure this technology out. So it really is our responsibility to use this technology and figure out how to build and stuff like that. Yeah, whenever I talk to people about AI, I had a meeting with the AAPI White House Initiative. It's literally a white. I was invited with
I think I saw a picture of you two.
Yeah. I talked to about 150 business owners in the SBA with this was like people are like trying to figure out. I was on the board and they're like coming to me and they're like, so you're the AI guy? And I'm like, yes, I'm the AI guy. And they're like, they're asking me, they're like, what should I be worried about this technology? No, you should never be worried. You should be prepared. It's better. Which one would you rather be? Would you rather be worried or prepared? He's like, I'd rather be prepared. Okay, cool. So what do I do? I was like, okay, first thing I do is understand what it is, right? I believe everybody should understand what it is and what it can. Because if you don't understand what it is, then you're going to be scared of something that you don't know what it does.
Correct.
But the thing is everybody goes through like that process. And when they invited me there and I was on the panel and I was like talking to people and I talked to someone that actually works in Virginia, like who works in the White House. And they're like, he was like telling me, he's giving me the advice of you have to be in front of as many people as much as possible. Cause like, this is something that it's going to be difficult for them to get over. Whether and a lot of it's like ethical concerns. That's like that's the direction that I took with it. I'm like, I can help as many people as much as possible, not be scared or fearful of this technology and open up their creative brain and be like, okay, this is the technology that we have accessible. This is what I can do with it. Oh, technically I could do this. And yeah, you can do it. Let me show you how to do it. Let's help build it together.
Copy that. I'll make sure to be on these.
Let's get it, bro. I appreciate you for attending the call. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Keep me updated. Can't wait to watch your stories and see what you do. See what that cigar lounge looks like tonight. But yeah, I'll talk to you later, brother. Have a great day. See you, Jay.